So, do you believe in miracles? I just want to share my testimony of a miracle that has affected me. It completely changed my life. It just, the way I look at things and trust in God, it has just changed so much. And I need to share it with people. I have shared it a lot. Because it happened in 2016. It was something that happened with my mom. We were flying to Denmark for a wedding, and during that time, well, before we left, there was I didn't notice anything wrong at all. And if I had, we never would have made that trip. But we left, we flew over to Denmark. It was a long flight overseas, and it was our first trip overseas that her and I have ever taken. Neither one of us has flown overseas before. But so we get over there, and it was a Tuesday when we got in, and we went there for a wedding. The wedding was on a Saturday. So as soon as we landed, I noticed a change in my mom, and I thought, okay, well, it must be she's just tired, because, we didn't get much sleep before. We were excited about the trip, and, it was just a long flight. So, the time difference and everything. So we just figured, we're just both exhausted. But each day, I don't know, there was just a little change in her each day. And so I thought, okay, this is weird. Like her whole attitude changed. And she just seemed more angry, more agitated. And so, come to Saturday, the day of the wedding, we arrive at the church, and she says, I never should have came. And she sounded like really mad, and I couldn't understand, like, what is this coming from? Like, why are you acting like this? And we get into the church, and by then she's just white, and she's sweating so bad her hair is wet. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's something seriously wrong. She's like, I feel like I'm going to be sick. So I said, okay, let's get you into the bathroom. She's like, I can't make it to the bathroom. So I sit her down because there was just like an open area, had some seating in there before you actually get into the church, for the service. And so we're sitting there, and people are looking at her like, what is wrong with her? Because she looked terrible. And so the wedding is about to start. So we get in, and I'm trying to get her sat and have her not make a scene or something, because at this point I don't know what she's going to do or what she's going to say. So we get sat down, and on the back of one of the pew that was in front of us, it had a black hook, and she started slapping at that hook. And I was like, what are you doing? She says, that's a bug. And I'm like, that is not a bug. I said, that is a hook. And I thought, oh my gosh, so I looked at the crucifix on the wall. There was this beautiful, beautiful, like, it looked like a hand carved wooden crucifix. And I looked at that, I focused on that, and I prayed like I had never prayed before. And then I heard God speak to me so clearly. And he said, it's a brain aneurysm. And that freaked me out. And I was like, and I just said to myself, a brain aneurysm. Oh my gosh. And he said, she's going to be okay. So, I'm trying to, trust this. It's like, okay, you say she's going to be okay. I believe she's going to be okay. But we wanted to wait till after the service and, take her to the hospital. After the service, the minister comes up, and he said, is she okay? And I said, no, but, we're going to take her to the hospital. And he says, okay, good. And so, that caught his attention, with performing the wedding, and he's noticing her because she's looking so not good. And so we get her to the hospital, and it was a university hospital. in Denmark. And luckily, they just diagnosed her as having severe exhaustion because, when you're in a foreign country, you don't want to be diagnosed with something that, is life threatening and have to stay there. And, so she gets diagnosed with that. The wedding's on Saturday. We end up leaving. We flew out on Tuesday. And those few days were just, it was awful. I could hardly wait to even get back home because I was like, I just want to get her to the doctor and really get her checked out. So finally, I get her to her doctor. I let her doctor know I want her tested for a brain aneurysm. And her doctor said, it's highly unlikely that that's what it is. I said, I don't care. I want her tested for it. They tested her for it. And sure enough, she had a brain aneurysm. And so her doctor asked me, how did you know that she had a brain aneurysm? I said, because God told me that. I said, when we were in Denmark, he told me she had a brain aneurysm. And the doctor's mouth just like dropped. She couldn't believe it. She was like, oh my gosh. But so she's had surgery. The surgeon could not believe the whole story. I told him the story and he just couldn't believe it. He says, if I didn't believe in miracles before, he says, I do now, because when she got in for surgery, she had the surgery, but then, getting in there, she didn't have just one brain aneurysm. She ended up having 3. And two of the aneurysms, one grew up inside the other, and it grew up to a shape of a cone. And he said, they just don't do that. He said, all the years, it was an older doctor, and he said all the years of his practice, he said he has never seen that happen before because aneurysms just don't do that. Because there was no reason why, the aneurysm shouldn't have burst, because that's what they do. They burst. And he said the fact that you were flying overseas, the plane, it flies at a higher altitude when you're flying overseas. He said, so that alone, not even just flying to Denmark, but flying back home, he says, there's no explanation as to why that shouldn't have burst. And he ended up finding a third one, and it was one that was it was a smaller one, and he had clipped the 2 that were grown together, clipped that. The clip fell not fell, but laid on the other one. He said that would just suffocate it. But that was truly a miracle. There was no medical explanation as to why it did not burst. And God told me, it was a brain aneurysm. She's going to be fine. And he was right. He was right. And I love just sharing that testimony because, there's so many people that need miracles, but they don't truly believe that God is that same God, that he performs miracles, and he does. He does. And, that was proof, and that changed not only my life, her life, the doctors. It changed just so many people's lives just for that one miracle. And I stand 100% on God is the same. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if you need a miracle, keep believing, keep praying, because he is a miracle working God. He truly is. And he wants to perform miracles, but you have to believe, you have to have faith and believe in him that he will do it, and he will do it. So, but I thank you for joining me and, watching this video. And I hope, this helps to bring faith, in you, and that you truly believe that, God will perform a miracle. He did it in my mom. He's done it in my own life, and He will do it for you as well. So I will see you later. Bye.